Hey everybody, we are in the book of Acts this week. I want to spend a little time in Acts chapter 6, and I want to look at the challenges that all this growth that's happening in the church is causing the people in the book of Acts. You know, I brought this up in Bible class this weekend. On Pentecost Day, the church grew from a small group to 3,000 people in one day. And while that sounds, that's amazing, that's wonderful, that's God's blessing, think about the challenges that would present. What if St. Matthew grew by 3,000 people in one day? It would be wonderful. We would praise God, but it would take a lot of work and it would take some broad shoulders. And that's the point that I want to make today is that God's blessing often takes hard work and broad shoulders. And we're experiencing that right now in David's Christian Learning Center. We've grown by 20 kids or so over the past year. And that means we have to rearrange rooms. It means we have to go through a whole lot of rigmarole with fire marshals and state inspectors and companies that provide alarms and companies that provide sprinkling, and we've had to rearrange kids, and we've had some people just working till they're exhausted this past week to bring us up to speed and get so that we can serve those 20 new kids plus the 30 we already had. It's hard work, broad shoulders to withstand God's blessing. And that's what the Church of Acts is seeing. In Acts chapter 6, one of the things the church had been trying to do was, when they were small, was to take care of the widows. Widows had no source of income. They didn't have Social Security in those days. And so God had commanded the church to take care of the widows and those that couldn't not take care of themselves. And so they had done that. They were making sure that the widows got a weekly distribution of food. But all of a sudden, the church is growing and getting bigger, and now we've got not just the Hebrew Jewish people, we've got Greek Jewish people, and the church is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are getting left out of the distribution of food, and so some come to complain, rightfully so, and the church appoints 7 deacons who will make sure that everyone gets what they need, everyone gets what God has told them to give to people. In the early church, it took hard work. It took broad shoulders to deal with all of that blessing that God was so rapidly pouring out. And I think the lesson remains the same for us today. Recently God has blessed St. Matthew and David's Christian Learning Center, but that means for us hard work. And so as God blesses us in the future, I just want us to be prepared for more hard work and more broad shoulders to withstand God's blessing. That's it. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.